Good morning, everyone, and we are continuing here in the words of the Horowitz in his Sefer HaMitzvos. We're holding 100 shiurim, 100 classes into the Sefer, which is a great accomplishment. It's 100 days of learning halacha together, hundreds of days of getting an overview of all the commandments that HaKadosh Baruch Hu not only gave us by Har Sinai, but as the Horowitz is writing in this Sefer, he gave us all of these mitzvahs in order to help us realize that even Bizman Hazeh, in our times, in our generation, these are all the mitzvahs that we are able to keep, and we're able to guard, and we're able to fulfill. Some of them every day of our lives, other than at the appropriate times, but this is our chelik, this is our portion in the Torah that HaKadosh Baruch Hu has given us. So, apropos, I'm sitting here in Yerushalayim HaKodesh, in the holy city of Jerusalem, and we're learning together, because it says, as it says in the pasuk, Ki mitzion teitzei seira, from Tzion, from Yerushalayim, comes Torah midvar Hashem mi Yerushalayim. The words of HaKadosh Baruch Hu come from Yerushalayim. This is where the Torah comes from. This is where halacha is decided. And therefore, we're going to learn today a new halacha, Memches 48. Mitzvahs aseh lishchot behema chaya va'oif. There is a positive commandment for a person, the shecht, to ritually slaughter an animal, a chaya, a domesticated animal, a chaya, an undomesticated animal, va'oif, and chicken, im yirtzalecha b'psarim, if you want to eat from their flesh. The mitzvah of Shechita, a person cannot just take an animal, take it into his house, kill it any way that he wants to, and then eat it. It has to be done in a very specific and particular way that we call Shechita. Now, where do we know this halacha from? Shenemar, it says in the Torah the following: V'zavachta mivkarcha. Hashem is telling Moshe Rabbeinu, you should shecht, you should slaughter some of your herd, umitzayincha, and from your flock, kasher tzivisicha, as I commanded you. Now, HaKadosh Baruch Hu is talking to Moshe Rabbeinu, and he's telling him that you should slaughter from your flock the way that I commanded you. Where do we find in the Torah that HaKadosh Baruch Hu ever commanded Moshe Rabbeinu to shech, to slaughter an animal in a certain way? Where do we see the halachas, all of the laws of slaughtering and the like? We don't find it anywhere in the Torah. And so the Horowitz says an amazing thing. Malamed, we learn from this. Shenitztava Moshe Rabbeinu, alav shalom, Moshe Rabbeinu was commanded in all of the halachas, Baal Peh. It was a Masara, it was the oral transmission that HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave over to Moshe Rabbeinu. As we know, when Hashem gave the Torah at Har Sinai, He gave Torah Shebiksav, the written word, which is what we call the Chumash. It is the Chamisha Chumshei Torah, the 5 books of Moshe. And He also gave to us Torah Sheba'al Peh, which is the oral word. As we pointed out along the way, there are many mitzvahs in the Torah that in the black and white, the sentences, the psukim that are there, so you know there is such a mitzvah, but you have no idea what the mitzvah looks like. And therefore, it is incumbent upon every single Jew to understand and believe be'emunah shlema, complete faith, that there is a Torah Sheba'al Peh, there is an oral Torah that HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave down to the world as well for us to learn, to understand, to be able to clarify all the different mitzvahs that we have in the Torah. Says the Horowitz, that's the mitzvah of Shechita. All it says in the Torah is that if you're going to eat from these animals, slaughter them the way that I commanded you. Where's the command? Says the Horowitz, Baal Peh. It was given over as an oral transmission. Hilchoi Shechita, the laws of Shechita, the laws of ritual slaughtering were given over to Moshe Rabbeinu Baal Peh. Alavesh ve'alakoneh, where exactly to cut on the windpipe. V'roif simen echad ba'oif, and if you shecht, if you slice the majority of one of the parts of the windpipe of a bird, that's enough. V'al roif shnaim b'behema, and by an animal, by a regular an animal, cow, a sheep, and the like, has to be at least 2 of the simanim, 2 of the signs that are there. V'al shia drasa, so too when it comes to pausing while you're in the midst, or if you are pressing the knife down, chalada, if you're inserting it under the cover of the skin, hagrama v'ikor, so too if a person is cutting at a slant, or he's tearing loose. All of these different things are going to be psulim. They're going to be areas that if you don't know the halach as well, the shechita, the slaughtering of the animal is going to be posel, it's going to be invalidated, and the meat is going to be no good. It is treif meat, you cannot eat it. And therefore, says the Chavetz Chaim, you're a Jew, one of the things that we do is keep kosher, and the laws of kashrus, of shechita, is something that HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave over to Moshe Rabbeinu Ba'Peh. We have a Gemara in Chulin, which describes everything in detail, exactly how to do it, and that is what Moshe received. V'noig b'chol makom b'chol zman, and this halacha is something that takes place everywhere, all of the time, whether you're in Eretz Yisrael or you're in Chutz La'aretz. It's always the halacha of shechita is applicable. You can never eat meat that was not shechted properly. B'scharim u'b'nekevos, men and women duly obligated to keep the laws of kashrus properly and make sure that the meat that they eat was shechted in the right way. Have a wonderful day.